I'm really excited today to be launching this book here at the University of Suffolk. It is the result of 30 years of work in terms of thinking about finance, researching it, teaching it. Jainism happens to be my culture. My co-author Aidan Rankin, I met him at the London School of Economics, so we were students together at that time. And in one sense, I actually never dreamed that one day I would be writing a book about my culture and its secrets in terms of an ethical finance, which I could share with the whole world. So this, to me, is a great day for me and a great opportunity.
ऋषभदेव मंगलम अजितनाथ मंगलम संभवनाथ मंगलम अभिनंदन मंगलम सुमतिनाथ मंगलम पद्मप्रभ मंगलम सुपार्श्वनाथ मंगलम चंद्रप्रभ मंगलम.
It is a great day for Dr. Atul Shah and Aidan Rankin that the Jainism and financial ethics is launching at the great university. So everybody is so happy and we are also excited because Jainism and ethics, like the subject itself, Lord Mahavira, given some seeds of self-control and sharing and caring. So mainly in his teaching, one sutra, asamvibhagi nahutasya mokho, one who accumulates the wealth only for himself and not share and care the wider community is not eligible to attain the moksha, the final liberation.
What I like about the book Ethical Finance is that for most of us who studied finance, we're often told about the old traditional economics, supply and demand, the market sets the rate. But actually there are some other ideas older than what we've been studying here in the West. Some elements of Jainism go back some 5,000 years. And we often seem to be quite attracted by old ideas. We often talk about the Greeks. But actually the Greeks weren't the first, there were many that came before them. So I think if we could understand some of the concepts of ethical finance, there might be a way to introduce this to our students into financial reporting and perhaps take on board some of these more practical ideas. The idea essentially is it's not about greed, it's about sharing, it's about the environment. And I think if the finance sector took these on board, I think we'd be in a much better position than we are today.
The book contains a number of true life stories about Jain businesses, both in the present and in history, and also about Jain entrepreneurs and financiers. And through those examples, it tries to convey how the philosophy looks at ethical business and how it applies this in practice.
In a way, as importantly, Atul is a huge champion for multiculturalism and a huge champion for Jainism and Jain initiatives, and has been doing that for many, many years. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my very good friend, Atul Shah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. One of the things that I remember as a child growing up in Mombasa in Kenya is that there was no me. It was always we.
What we have seen in the last 2 decades particularly, that the world of finance has changed so much. The things which the bankers and other investment people are doing are more, you would think, for rather a speculation, and they are trying to work for a small minority of the people rather than for the community at large. And Jainism, even though the Jains, even though they are a very small community, about 10 million Jains in India, about 200,000 or 250,000 around the world, would always see that the bottom line is not just for the shareholders or for the owners, but that the fruits of their endeavors are passed on to the beyond the community. And this is why you see the Jain philanthropy, particularly in India, is quite unique in that 50% of the charity work is collected through Jain organizations.
Lesson for the future and making it brighter and brighter, and we can see heaven here on our doorstep. Thank you.
The Jain principles, which is grounded in non-violence, has been there for like centuries in the text and of course in practical lives of Jains themselves. But to bring them out of that boundary and to present to a diverse global platform, it's really a need of the day. It's also a need of the day because it's the time where the world is more receptive to diversity, I think. And that way, it is a perfect time for a perfect book like this.
An issue with this concept that in order to succeed in business, you have to be a very hard-nosed businessman who makes what they call hard decisions and keep your eyes on the bottom line regardless of means and ways. And I'm really, really interested and fascinated to see the topic of ethical finance being discussed and addressed. And I see this book as one of the ways that can tell us and demonstrate that in order to be a successful business person, you do not have to compromise ethics. Actually, being ethical and applying strong ethics can lead to you being a more successful business person.
And prime function of a business is not only to make money, grow, and make the owners rich and well off, but it is to contribute to the society. That is how I've been taught business.
In the book, we personalize finance. We actually show to people how they can live a life which is personally fulfilling, where finance does not rule their life, but they are able to manage their finance and also understand what the limits of finance are.
Well, I think the book is important because it brings Jainist ideas of cooperation and interdependence into discussion about the financial system. And unique in a way because it weaves ideas about culture and values into the way that we talk about financial institutions. In the modern world, which is often now described as post-capitalist, it's a very refreshing new way of looking at the financial system, which I hope reaches a very wide audience.
Jainism, an ethical finance book that you've written and now published, has a very strong message to all businesses. I think in 3 areas: retain your cultural values, be ethical, and be charitable. I think it's a great message, and I really congratulate you and Aiden. Thank you very much, everybody.
I come from a culture where social capital was very, very important. The community was at the heart of everything. The temple was my playground and my playground. It was a fun place to be, and that's where I met my friends. That's where I met my family and my uncles and aunts, and the festivals, the color, the art. I mean, it was so good. And those are the kinds of things we are trying to capture in this book and trying to show to people that actually let's build communities. Let's not get stuck in our individualism. Let's go out from the individual to the family. Let's go out from the family to the community. Let's see how we can build a sharing finance, a caring finance, a finance where instead of the 1% having 50% of the wealth, we want the 100% to have equal wealth all over the world so that everyone is equally happy and contented.